The views and opinions of the producers, hosts, and guests in the show do not directly reflect the official stand and policies of the management, the network, and the company. The program that features, highlight, and connect, creating and harnessing linkages for you and your company for your new content, communication, and conversion. Talk.Shop.Asia Power Network, hosted by the business and transformation mentor Rolly Pagaspas and millennial ASEAN advocate Colin Lalyaban and direct selling sensei Jojo Barakias and reliable DSAP administrator Niet De Leon. Talk.Shop.Asia Power Network, growing exponentially.
Good afternoon, Business Philippines, and welcome to the 22nd season of Talk.Shop.Asia Power Network, the Philippines' most formidable business community, events organizer, and digital media producer all in one program. So this season, we will explore the power of networks and communities to push for business development and sustainability. So I am Colleen Daliaban, and I will be your anchor for today. Let me call on my co-anchor, Mr. Enrico De La Rosa, and of course, our co-host, Ms. Niet De Leon, to be with us on the show.
Hi, Colleen. How are you?
Hi, Rico. Yeah, doing great.
Hello.
How are you guys? In this rainy season, ika nga nila cuddle weather daw.
Yeah,
Actually, I was out earlier today doing work errands, and the sun was already out. It stopped raining, but now it's raining again. So hello and a pleasant rainy morning to everyone. So I hope you stay dry for all our viewers.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. How about you, Rico? How are you in this rainy season?
yeah, definitely. I've been running maybe 2 or 3 times now in the rain, and I think it's still gloomy. So I think we're supposed to expect a few more showers by the end of the day.
Yes, definitely. I agree. So, Rico, to call on our partners, please.
Yeah. So in partnership with the Direct Selling Association of the Philippines, or DSAP, and the ASEAN Youth Organization Philippines, we continue to empower both renowned retail industry giants and emerging youth-led startups. These organizations will shape the opportunities for our viewers and communities to support brands and push industries as we grow exponentially.
Definitely, I agree. Ms. Niet, what can we expect? What can our viewers expect from this season of Talk.Shop.Asia?
Of course, in the newest season of Talk.Shop.Asia Power Network, our viewers can expect exposure to industry-leading brands and rising youth-led startups. We are creating a holistic community that can foster mutual business relationships and empower brands as we venture into new horizons.
Yeah, that's right. Miss Yet, we are streaming live through Facebook with Talk.Shop.Asia Power Network, Talk.Shop.Asia Retail Industries Group, and our program partners, Direct Selling Association of the Philippines and ASEAN Youth Organization Philippines Facebook page. We would also be glad to hear from all of our viewers through the comments page of our live stream. Just leave your questions or comments there, and we will make sure to get your insights across throughout the show as we talk about all the exciting things Ms. Niet just mentioned.
Of course. True to Talk.Shop.Asia tradition, no, we are sharing our platform to empowering Filipino businesses as we delve into farming your future. So we have an extraordinary roster of guests with us today as we feature not just one, but 2 communities with a passion for sustainable agriculture.
That's right, Colin. We have for our first guest, Rafael de la Cruz of Filomena Grains, leading distributor for heirloom rice in major supermarkets. And of course, we also have Sir Vern Compas. That he will introduce a holistic way of life in agriculture through COFAM Agritourism Training Center.
For the brand featured segment of our show, we will talk about the 8-point test, a routine method by the direct selling community to give us an idea of how the SAP anchors the legitimacy of its member companies.
Yeah, it seems we are going to have another jam-packed Friday afternoon, Colleen and Miss Niet. So everyone stay tuned. All that and more when Talk.Shop.Asia Power Network returns.
Technology allows us to explore a variety of opportunities. So why not grab one for you? Kickstart your online business with Big Benta. Create an account, visit our store builder, then make your online shop. Be visible, gain customers, and run your business hassle-free. Plus, enjoy the support of our local merchandising team to maximize our platform. Make technology work for you with Big Benta, Pinoy e-commerce site made for you. After this pandemic, let's support the Filipino community. Buy local, visit local, go local. Welcome to Pride and Proud Asia, Asia's first online radio show that champions LGBT contribution and leadership in business and in our country and the region. Hosted by the Philippine LGBT Chamber of Commerce, visibility, representation, and empowerment. This is Pride and Proud Asia. Happy Pride!
Empower your mind. Be informed. Dahil lamang ang may alam. Knowing the latest trends and issues in the society. Feed your mind with information that are reliable, fresh, and straight from the experts. Be involved. Here in the conversations with Chester Kidlat, broadcasting live in big media. This is The Conversations. Updated products and usage, value for customer and consumer, power in business and ally. All these in one bedrock of information. Only here on Talk.Shop Asia Business Feature of the Week.
All right, get the best deals online while supporting local with Big Benta. Download Big Benta app in your Android and Apple devices to get your latest gadgets, electronics, and home essentials. And of course, again, we'd like to greet our partners all the way from the ASEAN Youth Organization Philippines and the Direct Selling Association of the Philippines as well. May your advocacies continue to inspire.
Definitely, I agree, Rico. And also this week, we are welcoming you to the first segment of Talk.Shop Asia Power Network, dedicated to highlighting up-and-coming direct selling and retail business leaders with our partner enterprises and organizations. So we are glad to have on the program one of the best partners of Talk.Shop Asia business communities, the Direct Selling Association of the Philippines, along with Ms. Niet De Leon. All right. So today, we are delving into the 8-point test. I mean, what is this 8-point test? No, Ms. Niet, let's get right into it. Where did it come from?
Okay. The 8-point test was conceptualized by the Direct Selling Association of the Philippines during the chairmanship of Mr. Josiah Go in 2002. Actually, he is the best person to explain in depth on these topics. But since I'm the administrator of the DSAP, I can provide answers to the questions raised today. A brief answer for the questions. So, aside from the 8-point test, we created an anti-pyramiding video that we can show our viewers first before we move on to the next question.
Of course. So let's watch this very informative video about the 8-point test and Direct Selling Association of the Philippines. Let's take a look.
Nakita mo na ba to sa feed mo? Malamang, narinig mo na rin ang mga bali-balitang ganito, mga na-scam at nawala ng pera dahil naengganyo silang mag-member at mag-invest ng pera sa kumpanyang hindi naman pala legit. Kadalasan, ganito ang nangyayari sa kanila. Inaalok silang sumali ng kumpanya na may malaking membership o entry fee. Kikita daw sila ng pera kahit hindi magbenta, basta mag-imbita lang ng bagong miyembro na ganun din ang gagawin sa pangakong may komisyon o porsyento sila mula sa mga bagong recruit na ito. Isa itong tuloy-tuloy na cycle kung saan ang perang nanggagaling sa baba ay pumupunta lamang sa taas. Yan ang tinatawag na pyramiding. Habang tumatagal, hindi lang maliit na pagkalugi ang nagiging epekto nito, kundi malaking kawalan ng pera para sa mga biktima, mapanigosyante, estudyante o OFW dahil lang sa pangakong dodoble o titriple ang pera nila. Sad no? Sa umpisa lang pala at hindi pang matagalan. Teka, bakit yung kumpare mong inaalokang mag-member may bagong kotse at yung 20 years mo ng kumare nakapagpundar pa ng parlor? Good question. Hindi kasi lahat ng direct selling company o mga kumpanyang nag-aalok ng produkto sa pamamagitan ng one-on-one selling ay pyramiding. Sa katunayan, karamihan sa kanila lehitimong negosyo na tumutulong sa mga miyembrong kumita sa legit o legal na paraan. E paano mo naman malalaman kung legit ba yan o hindi? Gamit ang tinatawag na 8-point test, maaari nating malaman kung legit direct selling o pyramiding ang ating papasuking negosyo. Suriin at sagutin ang checklist na to para malaman kung legit ba yan. Una, may produkto bang binibenta sa'yo si kumare o kumpare? Ang legit na direct selling sa pagbebenta ng lehitimong produkto kumikita, habang sa pyramiding, kadalasan ay puro sa recruitment fees lang. Ang komisyon ba na kikitain ay mula sa pagbebenta ng produkto at hindi mula sa registration o entry fees ng mga recruit? Kapag ikaw ay kumikita galing sa registration fee ng recruits, maski may kasamang produkto pa ito, pyramiding yan. Dahil sa legit mula sa binentang produkto, galing ang kita. Hindi ba posesyon ang layunin ng pagbebenta ng produkto? Sa pyramiding kasi, pati posesyon pwedeng bilhin. Ang isang tao ay pwedeng magkaroon ng 2 o higit pa sa 30 slots o multiple distributorship para dumami ang kikitain mula sa mga recruit. Sa direct selling, one-time registration lang at bawal ang maraming posesyon. Wala bang ugnayan ang dami ng recruit sa magiging income? Sa legit, kumikita ka sa benta mo at benta ng grupo mo sa produkto at hindi sa dami ng recruits na nagbayad ng entry fees. Kung sakaling ihinto ang pagre-recruit, kikita pa ba ang mga sumali? Sa legit, kikita ka pa rin dahil tuloy-tuloy ang benta ng produkto. Sa pyramiding, tiyak na babagsak ang negosyo kapag wala ng miyembro na ma-recruit at magbabayad ng entry fees. May proteksyon ba ang sino mang ayaw at gustong maibalik ang ipinuhunan? Sa legit, may mga product return at buyback policy. Sa pyramiding, hindi na maibabalik ang binayad mong registration fee dahil ipinambayad na tong recruitment bonus. Hala! May halaga ba sa merkado o fair market value ang mga produktong binibenta? Bibilhin ba ng consumers ang produkto ayon sa presyo at kalidad nito? Bibilhin ba ng tao ang produkto kahit hindi sila magmiyembro? Sa ibang pyramiding kasi, kailangan miyembro ka muna bago makabili. At minsan, ang babayaran mo para maging miyembro, mas malaki pa kaysa sa halaga ng produktong ibibigay sa'yo. Kung oo ang sagot sa lahat ng katanungan na yan, legit yan! Kaya wag matakot mag-deal. At kung hindi naman ang sagot sa maski isang tanong dito, naku, magdalawang isip ka na. Ang Direct Selling Association of the Philippines ang opisyal at legit na organisasyon ng mga direct selling company sa bansa at kasali din sila sa World Federation of Direct Selling Associations base sa Amerika. Para maiwasan at matulungan tayong pag-ibahin ang dalawa, may mga patakaran at batas na tumutulong proteksyonan ang mga mamamayan at negosyante. Magkaakibat ang Department of Trade and Industry o DTI at Direct Selling Association of the Philippines o DSAP sa paniniguradong legit lamang ang mga ka-deal mo. Huwag maging biktima. Suriin ang kumpanya ng maigi gamit ang 8-point test bago mag-invest. Kung tanungin kang open-minded ka ba, balikan mo ng legit ba yan? Para i-check ang mga legit na member companies at karagdagang impormasyon tungkol sa 8-point test, maaaring kontakin o bisitahin ang website ng DSAP sa www.dsap.ph. Para i-report ang mga hindi legit na kumpanya o kumpanyang nagsasagawa ng pyramiding, kontakin ang DTI sa DTI Direct Hotline o mag-email sa consumercare@dti.gov.ph.
Tandaan, ang direct selling ay hindi pyramid scam. Isa itong lehitimong paraan ng pagnanegosyo na ginagamit ang person-to-person na pagbebenta ng mga produkto at serbisyo na may mga komisyon, discounts at iba pang benepisyo para sa mga miyembro nito. Ang Direct Selling Association of the Philippines at ang Department of Trade and Industry ay magkaagapay sa pagpapalaganap ng kaalaman tungkol sa legitimate direct selling. Kung sa tingin ninyo, pyramid scheme ang gamit ng inyong sinalihang kumpanya, ilapit at i-report ito sa Department of Trade and Industry Consumer Hotline 1384. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon ukol sa legitimate direct selling at ang 8-point test, visit www.dsap.ph o bumisita sa pinakamalapit na DTI Negosyo Center sa inyong lugar.
Wow, that was a very, very informative video from DSAP. I think it was very notable, no? I think sabi kanina sa video, as if if the company at least doesn't check out at least one of the
Yes.
one of the questions in the 8-point test, that there's a bit of doubt na kaagad, which I think is very
Yes.
good, which is a good guide, for our consumers, so that they avoid, especially nowadays, no, ang daming mga offers, etc., etc. So it's always good to keep yourself safe and protected. So you mentioned, Miss Niet, that this 8-point test actually was established in the past pa. May I
Yes.
ask? May I ask lang, Miss Niet, in that landscape before, was it similar today? How did it become a standard?
Mm. The 8-point test actually is consistent with the DTI's Department Administrative Order Number 8, Series of 2002, or the DAO Number 8. This serves as an implementing guidelines for the direct selling on the Consumer Act of the Philippines. And the 8-point test, if you look at it, it was made easier for everyone to understand. Because if you go through the DAO, it's very extensive if you look at it. As
Right.
well as in the Consumer Act of the Philippines, there's only limited for particularly for the direct selling. But this direct 8-point test that was created in 2002, if you look at the questions, they're very easy to understand and very easy to answer. During that time in 2002, there were a lot already of pyramiding companies that are sprouting out, but they were different than today, because before, majority of the pyramiding companies had no products. They were only into recruitment, but now it has evolved. They have products, but still they're doing it not the legitimate way of doing the business. So that's more or less the history of why the 8-point test came about.
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely agree, no, with Miss Niet. Like, there are a lot of companies talaga. They're offering direct selling or MLMs, no? So, I want to ask also, Miss Niet, why is there a need to differentiate direct selling or legitimate multi-level marketing companies from networking or pyramiding?
There is a need in order to protect the public from illegal pyramid schemes wherein they could lose their money or investments, and also to protect legitimate businesses in direct selling or the multi-level marketing, as you call the MLM, that provide a source of genuine livelihood to millions of Filipinos and give consumers multiple options of world-class products.
Definitely agree, no? And of course, for our last question, Rico.
Yeah, that was very loaded, no. I guess the 8-point test gives us a very great guide into navigating this very beneficial industry, as you mentioned, Miss Niet. No, a lot of people can benefit from it. We just need the help of TSAP, the help of DTI, and the help of the 8-point test to just keep ourselves in check. So, what was the impact, or what is the impact of this 8-point test in the direct selling industry? Did it have any negative effects to the current businesses which are legitimate, or was it a very positive impact?
Um, positive in a sense that it has made the public more aware about the difference between illegal schemes and legitimate businesses. As such, legitimate businesses are able to thrive by offering an earning opportunity to sellers and distributors while giving the public access to world-class products. In fact, when we did the anti-pyramiding video and launched it last 2008. If you look in our on our Facebook page, um, there were a lot of people who viewed it, who shared it, and I've received a lot of questions or queries regarding it. It became the consumers or the public became more aware on the companies or direct selling companies that are offering them, so they have now a basis on or a guide on how to check whether they I mean it they can join or they need to join the company or not.
Definitely agree with this, no, Miss Niet and Rico. I mean, it's also very significant to note that it's high time. It's very important that every consumer is informed, not just of what they're buying, but also of what they're going to sell. And it's your
Correct.
money where you're going to invest it. So it's very important that it's legitimate, that they are protected from these types of schemes, no, these types of scams, no. So thank you very much as well for the work that this app does for the Filipino people, for making sure that these businesses are legitimate and that they are giving the best service they can for the Filipino people. Rico?
Yeah, we are looking forward. Thank you so much, Direct Selling Association of the Philippines. You have been giving us this 8-point test since 2002. And also, Ms. Niat De Leon, for sharing with us the awesome solution and your vision for Filipino businesses.
Of
You're
course. So
welcome.
of course, definitely, Miss Niet, no? We will be pausing just now for a quick break, no? But when we get back, we are featuring rising agricultural brands for our two community mic segments. So all of that when Talk Shop Asia Power Network returns.
Empower your mind. Be informed. Dahil lamang ang may alam. Knowing the latest trends and issues in the society. Feed your mind with information that are reliable, fresh, and straight from the experts. Be involved. Here in the conversations with Chester Kidlat, broadcasting live in big media. This is The Conversations.
May lumapit na ba sa'yo na nag-alok ng get-rich-quick scheme? Huwag maging biktima.
Ang Direct Selling Association of the Philippines at ang Department of Trade and Industry ay magkaagapay sa pagpapalaganap ng kaalaman tungkol sa legitimate direct selling.
Mayroong 8-point test na ginagamit upang malaman kung ang kumpanya ay pyramiding o hindi. Ang mga sumusunod ay 3 halimbawa mula dito. Inaalok ka na kumita sa mga nare-recruit. Pati posisyon ay pwedeng bilhin. Ang kumpanya ay walang product return policy. Mag-ingat, baka mabiktima.
Kung sa tingin ninyo, pyramid scheme ang gamit ng inyong sinalihang kumpanya, ilapit at i-report ito sa Department of Trade and Industry Consumer Hotline 1384. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon ukol sa legitimate direct selling at ang 8-point test, visit www.dsap.ph.
Communities are power. They are unique and linked, offering voice, value, and variety. Presenting now our community mic this week.
We are back for the second time, and this time we shall present the heart of this show's content, our community mic segment. So our guest for today highlights an agritourism and training center showcasing sustainable organic farming practices in the urban setting.
That's right, Colin. We have with us today a farm consultant and a Rotarian developing a 2-hectare agribusiness and eco garden in San Mateo, Rizal. And he has authored 4 books showcasing his expertise range from low-cost farming sustainable agriculture, and organic production. Let's welcome founder and CEO of COFAM Agritourism and Development Training Center, none other than the Mr. Organic, Sir Vern Compass. Welcome to the show, Sir Vern.
Yes, good afternoon. And good to have you here. Maraming salamat sa pagkakataon na makapagsalita dito sa inyong programa.
Of course, you're very much welcome, Sir Vern. No, actually, it's our pleasure to have you in the show. I mean, it's as a fellow agri advocate and agri graduate, no, I have been looking for guests like these, no, for a community that actually highlights the Philippine agriculture. So let's get to know COFAM Agritourism and Mr. Vern Compass with this video. So let's take a look. Definitely. Sobrang innovative ng book, Sir Vern, let me just tell you. I mean, as a fellow agri enthusiast, it's wonderful to see a guide on low-cost farming. I don't think it's being, it's being prioritized or stressed enough, no? So, Sir Vern, no, please tell us
Yes.
more about the vision of COFAM Agritourism and Training Development Center. I'd very much like to know what the center is about.
Yeah, before going with the agritourism of COFAM, I think it's good to understand what exactly COFAM means. It is actually stand for Kalinga Organic Farming Advocates Movement. And that goes with COFAM. And actually started that 5 years ago in the northern part. It is Kalinga province,
Wow.
where I piloted a project on organic farming and then showcased it together with the local government unit. And after the showcase, the project became quite successful because so many thousands of farmers actually believe on the technology of organic farming. And I carried the COFAM as brand, and born out of this movement is the COFAM Agritourism and Training Development Center, where I want to advocate and train farmers on technology and able to empower farmers to go what I call beyond the technololo. Technololo stands for technology ni lolo, laos na. And with this, yung mga farmers natin, nasanay doon sa technololo na sistema. And they need to adapt with the modern technology that we have now in terms of productions and mechanization, and as well with the organic farming technology that we have. So that's COFAM Agritourism and Development Training Center.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, no, Sir Vern. I feel like it's high time really, no, to introduce new techniques and more sustainable practices, especially for our farmers who are more leaning on the traditional sector. Pico.
Yeah, definitely high time to innovate. Yung sabi nga ni Sir Vern na technololo. I think we have another video explaining more of what Sir Vern has just mentioned regarding COFAM Agritourism and Training Development Center. Let's watch it. awesome. I think those were guides, no? So we have the training development center and actual guides that the farmers can take with them and just load up on information. So, Sir
Definitely.
Vern, you just mentioned what the vision for CoFam was, and it was, helping farmers innovate. What exactly are the services and trainings that is being offered by the CoFam Agritourism Center?
Yeah, CoFam is actually operating now a 2 hectares eco garden or agritourism area in San Mateo Rizal. And in that area, we have actually two-story building. But at the same time, we showcase organic farming through technology like hydroponics, aquaponics, raised bed gardening, soil gardening, of course, pots, and trying to innovate as much as we can, and then offer training on how to produce healthy food, and then seedlings, so on and so forth. So that's where actually in San Mateo Rizal.
Wow. Sir Vern, I'm actually very interested, no? And what is the difference between hydroponics and aquaponics? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm quite familiar with hydroponics, but is
Yeah.
it the same? Yeah?
No, it's not the same. They rhyme the same, but
Mm-hmm.
it's different, a little bit different. Hydroponics is purely using water without any soil, and aquaponics is combination of water and fish to fertilize the
Oh,
plants.
wow.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow. Yeah, that's actually very interesting, no? I mean, integrating a full ecosystem. Like,
Exactly.
not just the plant, not just the crops, but the fish as well. And this can be any fish, Sir Vern, or this
Yeah,
can also be tied with fish production, like for tilapia or
yeah.
other.
Tilapia is one of the best that you can use, but even non-tilapia can also be used because we just use the fish waste, yung tae nila, and it will become a natural fertilization for the plants.
Oh, right, kasi there's a.
And yeah, and you don't need to use any synthetic fertilizer, which makes the food more healthier.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, no, Sir Vern? Like, when you just imagine, I mean, with the amount of ammonia then siguro and the nitrogen from that, being able to, like, do all of that, no? So that's very, very good. So I also wanna ask, Sir Vern, like, with regards to all of these activities and all of these assets of the CoFam Agritourism Center, how did you design CoFam to address the current problems of agriculture in the country with your advocacy as well?
Yeah, I think it's all started with a question. It's all started about knowing what's the problem in our agriculture. And from that problem, we were able to come up with right data, right problem, issues that the farmers actually facing. And in terms of productions, in terms of unhealthy food, in terms of health. So yun yung naging basis bakit ako pumasok dito. No, and of course, I'm engaged in some consultancy services. So with those kind of identified problems, issues in our agriculture, CoFam was born out of it to address those issues and find ways on how to empower our farmers, try to elevate and educate them to adopt higher technology in farming, try to lower their inputs or their cost, at the same time with, of course, higher yields and healthier food. So yun yung konsepto doon. And ang COFAM, ay yan so far yung ginawa niya. Aside, of course, from that, way back 2018, one of my showcase project in Kalinga province actually born out of isang nangyari doon na epekto niya ay naging proponent tayo ng isang local ordinance sa Tabuk City para i-push at institutionalize ang organic farming as local ordinance. At ako po yung proponent
Wow,
noon na naipasa.
wow,
Wow,
Sir Vern.
Ah,
That's
Sir
so
Vern lang
amazing.
malakas.
para lagyan natin ng pangil yung advokasya at programa. Kasi otherwise,
Right.
yeah, kahit ang ganda ng programa, pero kapag walang pangil, walang mangyayari.
Right.
Completely
Right.
agree.
Oh,
Rico, go
I
ahead.
I'd like to pedal back lang to hydroponics server, no. I understand it's an innovative way of trying to increase production with your limited inputs, but for the benefit of everyone, especially our viewers, parang mapapatanong ka kasi you mentioned server walang soil na gagamitin in hydroponics. So
Yes.
so the question I think our viewers are also wanting to ask is, pwede ba talaga yun? Na magtanim ka na walang lupa? And ano yung parang benefits niya?
Yeah, actually, ito yung urban farming concept na
Right.
hindi na lang concept, but it's actually being practiced now during pandemic. Ang dami ngayon actually ang natuto na mag-hydroponics sa kanilang backyard garden at hindi mo kailangan ng lupa at malaking lupain para mag-produce ng inyong leafy vegetables. Kasi actually ang hydroponics mostly ay mga leafy vegetables including fruit vegetables like kamatis and other fruit vegetables na pwede. So, hindi na kailangan ng lupa para makapagtanim ka. So, there's no excuses.
Yes,
Everyone can actually become an urban farmer in your small yard.
definitely, Sir Vern. I really agree, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rico, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this makes farming of green leafy vegetables more accessible to everyone,
Yes.
right? Wow, okay, so that I think that has been the theme.
And added for that, Sir Imran,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
two of my books, actually, one of my latest book, it's not being published yet, it's not being printed yet, but it addresses the urban farming concept and practices. And actually forward and endorsed by Secretary William Dar
Oh,
and
wow.
the president of Kalinga State University. I hope that I can publish it later on.
Hopefully, Sir Vern, and also for the
Yes.
benefit of not just our viewers, but our farmers out there as well. You know, as a fellow agri industry partner, I'm very, very enamored and inspired by the work you do, Sir Vern. No? I mean, with not just with the advocacy, but like you also train people. Kumbaga, you pass it along. You pass the expertise along. You don't keep it for yourself, ganyan. And you make sure that you empower the farmers in the process of doing so. And also, the evidence-based adaptation. Parang I heard you say that kanina na you get the data first, and
Yes.
then you deploy the skill set, and then after that, you check if it's really efficient, if it's really effective. It's impacting. It's very impactful to do that. Um, I also want to ask, among your expertise and among your experience working with farmers, what is the one thing you think is the biggest problem that farmers face? When it comes to implementing new techniques or more sustainable practices for them.
Well, based on the offices of agricultural offices, I think they face several challenges in terms of educating and persuading farmers to adopt new technology like organic farming and other programs because of the farmers, let's say, closeness. Hindi sila masyadong open pagdating sa technology. And then lalo nung in-introduce kasi ang organic farming, parang napakahirap gawin dahil it takes a lot of effort, medyo mabigat, tawag doon, mag-hire ka ng tao para mag-broadcast ng mga organic fertilizer, parang very tedious work, medyo hirap silang i-adapt. Kaya puspusan naman din ang ginagawa ng gobyerno para matulungan at maturuan ng mga farmers to adapt with the new technology in terms para mapataas din yung production at the same time may promote ang healthy food.
Definitely agree, no, Sir Vern. I mean, it's also very remarkable how you're not just stopping at the field level. I mean, you don't stop at the farmer level. You make sure that there are ordinances in place, that there are actual policies in place to take care of our farmers and to guide them through it. No, like, can you tell us more about this ordinance that you did that was endorsed or that was endorsed in Kalinga or endorsed
Yes.
by the agriculture sector?
Yes, actually, after my pilot project and showcasing my pilot project, I want to put more weight in what I'm doing. So in Tabuk City, the main city of the only city actually of Kalinga province, and I crop up a policy and push the legislative council. At the same time, of course, I invited some of the influential people in the area to help me lobby the bill
Wow.
to become ordinance. So nung nakita nila, yung mga tao na very influential yung manakuha ko, ay wala
Wow,
silang magawa but to
Sir.
pass it. And then
Yes,
ang maganda dyan, ang maganda dyan, at least I think they put some budget in it and implementing it every year na.
yes. That's actually very beautiful, no, Sir Vern. Not just, okay, covered mo farmer sector, expertise, you got it. Covered mo ordinance, policy-wise, you got it. And then after that, you engage community leaders who
Yes.
are very influential in the community. So, you can balance both the legislative and the implementation part of these policies that you do, which is so amazing. And I have never felt more inspired. I as an agri enthusiast, then I am looking forward to the work that you will do pa for not just for the farmers but also for the Philippine agriculture. Rico.
Yeah, it seems that the vision of CoFam is helping farmers, but then it's a balancing act of trying to tackle all these challenges. As mentioned by Sir Vern, farmers do tend to have a hesitation against newer technologies. And so it seems like a balancing act between supporting them and trying to, ika nga ni Sir Vern, lagyan ng pangil yung policy so we get to implement it. And the impression that we get is that this is not an easy job to do in your case, Sir Vern. So our next question would be, why do you do this? Why do you go through the whole obstacle course of trying to help?
Yeah, I've been actually a person who always challenged the status quo. I've been a consultant for more than 20 years, and I work partly as implementing partner of United Nations Population Fund,
Oh wow.
where we address the population in development. But hindi siya actually sakop doon sa farmers, pero pag naging ikaw ay isang consultant, you always look for a problem. And then kapag na-trigger ako, nakita kong malaking problema, ano ba yung pwede kong gawin? And kapag nakita ko na pwede, doable, so I do my due diligence, do my research, and then try to test the ground kung kakayanin, and then do some kind of action, and get some influencers to do it. I think it's born out of passion for the love of country and fellow men to look on the grassroots level on how they can be empowered, like the farmers.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I can't stress that enough. No, I mean someone who does not. I mean someone who loves to challenge status quo. I think I will associate that whenever I think I with Sir Vern, whenever I think of Sir Vern Compass, no, someone who challenges status quo. That's actually a very beautiful thing. Not but
Isa pa ma'am, dagdag lang,
Go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
sure.
the data shows that it's 58 years old ang average ng mga farmers.
Yes,
Yep.
correct.
And 10 years from now, they're all gone.
Yes.
One problem that we have is that the gap between the farmers, old farmers, and the younger. We don't have much young generation now who are actually engaged particularly to farming. Ang farming nila, yung cellphone, kasi may Farmville yata doon. Doon sila
Yes,
natututo. And then the College of Agriculture that we have in our colleges and universities, also, kapag nag-graduate ka ng agriculture, hindi naman sila ganun kagaling masyado. Maganda sana kung yung thesis nila, they will pursue it with their thesis, and they level up their personality, yung kapasidad nila, so that they can offer their thesis as one of the technology, kung magandang klaseng technology yan. Kaya mukhang hindi ganun yung istorya na nangyari. Kaya ang dami nating graduates na nakatiwangwang lang at hindi na-maximize.
Yes, definitely.
So, yan yung isang challenge natin, and I think that's a challenge actually of the government, kung paano i-bridge yung gap between the old farmers. Kaya nga ang nangyari ngayon, ang domino effect, we keep importing rice from Thailand and Vietnam because they said that our farmers cannot cope up anymore with the productions.
Right.
So, malaking problema.
Definitely, sir. No, I've also seen that kind of problem na the succession planning is not existent, as in at all, for farm areas, and then they end up just selling the land dahil wala na magsasucceed, wala nang na-train to till the land or to do farming practices even. So there is that white gap na maglalaho talaga siya. I mean, if we don't address it right now, oo.
Yeah, ang isang discouraging part dyan, ma'am, is many of our younger generations told their parents, hindi naman kasi sila yumaman sa farming.
Yes.
Kung yumaman sana sila sa farming, no wonder na maraming papasok na mga younger generation. So I think it's high time that the government actually look on this, on how they will empower the young generation and push that farming can actually make you wealthy.
Definitely, Sir Vern, no? I love that idea. No? Kumbaga parang yung campaign before ng DA, no? We have to make agriculture sexy for the younger generations. No? So they would dive into it and then they would embrace the benefits that it can give us. No? With all this talk, no? With all this passion coming from you, Sir Vern, no? I think Rico has a wonderful question for you.
Yes.
Yes. So, Sir Vern, what's next for COFAM Agri-Center, and what are your plans moving forward?
Well,
anything notable? Yeah,
I want to continue doing the training in the eco farm, although it's not that developed yet. That's why actually hindi ako makapag full operate because sabi na natin na lack of resources. So I actually am opening my eco farm for investment. So where they can partner with me directly and with a win-win offer so that we can maximize. Kasi yung San Mateo Rizal is very close to Metro Manila. Where
Right.
we can influence urban dwellers to learn technology in the urban setting in terms of urban farming. At yun yung maganda na i-set up. Kapag may set up ko ng gusto ng hydroponics, aquaponics, mushroom production, may seedling production, with the two-story building, seminars, blended with some restaurant, doon kakainin nila doon yung mga fresh vegetables, so on and so forth, where they can
farm
relax.
to table.
Exactly. And then marami tayong ma-influensyahan ng mga urban dwellers. So, I hope magawa ko lahat yon, pero I'm also limited.
Well, definitely, Sir Vern, no? I mean, you are called Mr. Organic for a reason. I mean, being able to go from the grassroots level to the up top, to maintaining all of these and implementing it in a very holistic manner, sustainably, no? I mean, that speaks volumes as to the passion, the expertise, the things that you do, and the value of your expertise to our community. So thank you very much, Sir Vern, for your work for the agricultural industry. I've never seen a more inspiring individual in the industry, to be honest. So, Sir Vern, of course, we would like to give you the floor now to call for engagement. If you want to invite people to come to COFAM, or if they want to link with you or partner with you in your community, how do they reach you? Where can they find you?
Yeah. You can get my number or just browse our website, www.cofamgarden.com. We have the contact numbers there. I have my books posted there. You can order the book as ebook or hard copy. And you can visit our COFAM Eco Garden Place in San Mateo Rizal. It's in Pintong Bukawe. It's actually just beside the Ten Commandments, the big Ten Commandments. It's beside actually where the 2 hectares flag of Israel and 1 hectare flag of Philippines being showcased way back July 7, 2007, which is actually in the Guinness Book of Record. Historical place yung lugar, puntahan ng mga tao, kaya maganda actually na mag-venture doon. So I welcome you. I welcome as well some investors. I welcome some students who want to explore our place. And if you want to learn about hydroponics, aquaponics, seedlings, about plants, well, you can visit our website, get the number, and contact me.
Definitely, Sir Vern, no? Sir Vern, may question pala si Rico. Ayan, sabi niya sa akin, he wants to volunteer daw. Can we do that? The two of us. Can we
Yes,
do
pwede.
that? Oo, volunteer just for a day or two, siguro. Oo. Just to
Yeah.
help you around with or till some soil, ganyan. Or are you
Pwede
accepting
po.
volunteers, ganyan? Or
Yeah,
training
yeah.
interns? Mhm.
Actually, doon sa area, yeah, we need volunteers to clean the area actually kasi ang tataas na ng damo ngayon.
Right, right.
Napabayaan dahil sa lockdown, and then hindi ako
Oo.
nagagawi doon
Oo.
dahil nga sa lockdown. Even nga yung community project namin sa mga estudyante, sa mga religious groups, mga homeowners associations na urban garden competition, hindi rin na-push. Nakapag-garden sila, hindi na-push kasi naabutan ng mga lockdowns hanggang sa, wala, hindi namin na-sustain. Pero with the presence of Rotary Club, we're now actually talking of bringing it back para maging programa din sa community. But of course, volunteerism are much welcome. And actually, I'm looking forward to organize actually a agritourism visit, that for the visitors, that a package that we can offer for the whole urban dwellers, that when they go in our place, they have this whole 1 day or 2 days package that we offer so that they can have a good taste with the place. But allow me to, tawag nito, na i-prepare na maayos pa dahil talagang
Of course,
naabutan
Sir
ng
Vern.
lockdown. Kaya
Of
medyo
course.
kailangan pang iayos. Pero kung gusto man ninyong dumalaw lang din, just to appreciate the place, anytime naman din. Nandun ako o wala ako, you can visit.
Ayun, thank you very
Awesome.
much, Sir Vern, no? So we go ahead na tayo, may green light na tayo to volunteer, no, Rico? Ayan,
Cool.
I'm very much excited and looking forward to that, Sir Vern. And of course, I also want to thank you, before our segment ends, no? I want to thank you for the work that you do for the industry, for the farmers, being able to engage your whole community into legislative and policy making activities. I think that's the most sustainable way to preserve your legacy for the industry. All right. So thank you very much for that, Sir Vern. Rico, your thoughts.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I also want to thank you, Sir Vern, for the work that you do. And very notable, dun sa tanong natin kay Sir Vern, no? Tinanong ko Sir Vern, bakit mo ginagawa to? And Sir Vern says, well, I look for problems and I solve them. And I think that's very beautiful because that's not easy. But this is the passion that Sir Vern has, And thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So we are looking forward to more success for Sir Vern Compass and COPAM Agritourism and Training Development Center with their sustainable advocacy for Philippine agriculture. We will hear more from Mr. Vern Compass in the final segment of the show, so please stay tuned. Rico?
Yeah, we will be pausing for a quick break, but when we get back, we are featuring an emerging brand engaged in marketing locally produced healthy rice options for our second community mic segment. All that and more when Talk.Shop Asia Power Network returns.
May lumapit na ba sa'yo na nag-alok ng get-rich-quick scheme? Huwag maging biktima.
Ang Direct Selling Association of the Philippines at ang Department of Trade and Industry ay magkaagapay sa pagpapalaganap ng kaalaman tungkol sa legitimate direct selling.
Mayroong 8-point test na ginagamit upang malaman kung ang kumpanya ay piramiding o hindi. Ang mga sumusunod ay 3 halimbawa mula dito. Inaalok ka na kumita sa mga nire-recruit. Pati posisyon ay pwedeng bilhin. Ang kumpanya ay walang product return policy. Mag-ingat, baka mabiktima.
Kung sa tingin ninyo, pyramid scheme ang gamit ng inyong sinalihang kumpanya, Ilapit at i-report ito sa Department of Trade and Industry Consumer Hotline 1384 para sa karagdagang impormasyon ukol sa legitimate direct selling at ang 8-point test. Visit www.dsap.ph.
Communities are power. They are unique and linked, offering voice, value, and variety. Presenting now our community mic this week.
We are back for a second time, and this time we shall present another community for our community mic segment. So to get to know more about our guest, Ms. Niet.
Our guest for today is a homegrown brand engaged in the production and marketing of locally produced pigmented rice. This company honors the legacy of Inang Filomena, a wife, mother, farmer, and inspiration to her community.
Of course, now with the main goal of providing healthier alternatives to the Filipino community, we have with us the CEO and co-founder of Filomena's Grains. He is a degree holder of agribusiness management from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, with an extensive background in debate, management, and sales. And so let's welcome, without further ado, Mr. Rafael Isaiah de la Cruz. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Colin. Hi, Ma'am Niet. Wait, actually, I'm still doing my undergrad. I'm currently a senior in UPLB.
All right, yeah. Parang the expertise kasi akala ko graduate na, no?
Sana nga.
Sana nga. Don't worry, sasabihin ka din, Raf, definitely in the future. All right? So let's get to know more about Filomena's Grains with these videos. Let's take a look.
Wow,
Ayan.
that was one short, yummy video.
Actually, yung team
Yeah,
kasi
yung
namin,
own.
we all love food. Kaya we
Yes,
want,
you know.
we
I mean, I
want
just wanna
everyone
ask
to experience that.
Totoo, Raf. I just want to ask na before we dive into the Q&A, no? What was
Yeah,
that?
sure.
What was that video about, Raf? If you know, what was that?
It
Well,
looks
kasi
like a bibimbap or like a the
Very Korean
California
talaga.
Maki Filipino version.
actually, very, very close. It's black rice sushi. So may salmon sa taas niya.
Oh,
And
So it's called
kasi,
black rice.
yeah. Kasi we're usually, sanay tayo sa black rice tas food lang. But we
Mhm.
wanted to show everyone that you can get creative with how you eat black rice. In general, how to eat your meals. So parang we wanted to show na you can do this also if you know how to.
Yeah, I definitely agree, no, with Raf. I mean, black rice is just usually for, nakikita ko lang siya usually as a healthy option for people who are reducing their sugar, most likely siguro mga diabetic people, no? But to use that very colorful and pigmented rice in sushi, like why hasn't anyone done that? Like I feel like it's a very creative way of presenting it. It looks very yummy and diba, it looks very gourmet, no? So later, we will get to know more about the black rice sushi by Filomena's Grains, which we are obviously very, very interested with. Yeah. So let's dive right into the Q&A segment. Ms. Niet, please go ahead.
Yes. Ralph, can you share with us how did Filomena Grain started and what was the push behind the brand?
Actually, yung Philomena's Grains trading, it was generally a farm in typical rice farm mo from Palay to Palenque, etc., etc. Pero as my dad grew older, naging health junkie siya. But unfortunately, he was a sucker for white rice. So he would eat lots of rice. And eventually, it doesn't, it isn't good. Too much carbs can be bad. But then he tried black rice. He liked it, but there was something quite different with it. It was crunchy. It wasn't really that sweet compared to white rice. So he did a really weird solution. He planted his own black rice. He got the planting materials, and he started, uh, usually it started the black rice as something like a subsistent form of farming. It was only for him and our family. But but eventually he became more ambitious with it. He became more motivated to make it larger because he realized that black rice is something good, but it wasn't for the Filipino palate. And since he found a particular strain of black rice that was very sweet and it was also soft, he wanted to share it with everybody. So this is where I came in. So I think I was around second year college at that time, and he doesn't know how to do the marketing stuff because he's really production oriented. And since I'm an agribusiness management student, I know some bits of marketing, but I didn't have experience at that time. So he wanted me to take charge, and we wanted to do things differently. So we tried and modeled a supply chain in where we'll supply our product to supermarkets and share our brand to everyone out there. And I think one of the additional changes that we had in terms of us standing out is that we didn't really market our product specifically to older people, because even if we know that the usual consumers of black rice or any other pigmented or heirloom rice would usually be older individuals, but we thought about what if we chose younger individuals, because I remembered the story of my dad, regarding the large amount of consumption of white rice.
That's true.
Diba? Like, it's unhealthy, but we fail to recognize that it's unhealthy all throughout your life. The
Yes.
excessive consumption of anything isn't really good. So we try to market it to younger individuals because we realize that changing your diet and the way you approach food is hard, but it doesn't have to be hard. You can start with your rice, then maybe move up to the things you actually consume, your food. Maybe less fatty meat, move to fish, more vegetables and stuff like that. But you can always start small, repeat it continuously, and eventually you'll arrive at the outcome you want. We have the saying that repetition makes the uncertainty of success certain. And that's what we want to portray in our brand. That when you continuously choose this small change, you'll eventually go to the healthy lifestyle you want in the future. But it all starts with a very, very small step. And I think you could start with rice.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
totally agree with you.
Go on, Miss Yan.
Raf. Yeah, I totally agree with Raf that it's better to introduce the black rice to younger people, to the younger generation. It's better to start young, actually, for
Yeah.
this to have a healthy lifestyle, because it's not only for older people or those people who are already sick, but it's preventive is better than maintenance.
True, true. Very
So
true.
better start young. Okay. We're also curious, Raf, about the brand name. Who is Inang Philomena, and what was her legacy and impact in the community?
Uh, Inang Philomena is my lola from Santiago City, Isabela. She's still alive, so I'm not sure if it's really a legacy, but it's more like the story that she has and how it inspired me, and how we want people to be inspired by her story. So early in life, like when I was very young, around 5 to 6 years old, people would always, in our area, talk about my lolo's farm, my lolo Isong. But I always ask my mom and dad, but why isn't Lola's farm? Why isn't it Lolo's and Lola's farm? So there was a very big question when I was younger. And I asked my mom when I was a little older what was the actual contribution of Lola in my farm. Because I was always Lola's boy when I was younger. I was the
Yeah.
grandchild who would not sleep with my parents, go to my Lola's bed instead. I was that kid. So I asked my mom and dad what was Lola's role in the forum, and they said that she was a housewife and a substitute farmer. That didn't really make sense to me at the time, so they explained it further. They said that being a housewife in a farmer family is very important, especially if you're not a rich farmer. You're like like the average farmer in the Philippines. So when my lolo woke up early, my lola was there to give her coffee. My lola was there when my lolo got home. My lola was there to my lola was there to help the children with their allowances, with their food, going to school, going back, etc., etc. Being a housewife helped my lolo execute 100% all the tasks needed to make the farm what it is. And it was very essential because that was their means to survive. But more than that, my lolo was a substitute farmer. So when my lolo was sick, Lola was at the fields. Lola was also the one who prepped the meals. So when my Lola was sick, she did everything. Inang Philomena did all of that. When our carabaos got sick at the time, because we didn't have tractors back then, we didn't come from a very, very rich family. So at the carabao steed, my Lola would pull the araro instead. So that was something that, struck a nerve in me. It gave me some light on how diluted her importance was because it wasn't given a story. It wasn't given some light. So I think the story of Philomena is a story of all untold women of farmer families. And I think shedding light on her story sheds light on of the semblances of other individuals and how they could also relate on how Philomena was very significant and very impactful as her role in our family's farm and how they could also develop and grow into a business. And I think like my Lola's story is a way for us to start it's a starting point for more stories to be told, more lives to be inspired and understood, and a tipping point for more discussions on how urgent it is for us to empower farmer families all around our country. So I think that's the legacy hopefully my Lola Philomena will bring to us.
Wow, that's very beautiful, Raf. I cannot stress how inspiring that is also for our farmers who are just beginning, to grow their farms, who are just beginning also in the industry, who are also finding their own competitive advantages. But this brand, you brand, it has so much of it has a deep story within.
Yes.
It's deeply rooted, it's aptly rooted into your lineage in Carino, no? I mean, just from the story na your dad just wanted to, just grow rice to sustain himself, diba? I mean, I find it really remarkable na your family is really built on that kind of industry, diba? I mean, other people can't just plant and then expect it to grow the next day, diba? Parang
Yeah, it's
you're
a
also,
very hard process eh.
yes,
Like some
definitely.
people think farming is just like throwing seeds and
Totoo.
just praying it'll grow, pero hindi. Sobrang hirap. Ang raming science involved in
Yes,
farming. Like we
yes,
both took agriculture subject. It's so
yes.
hard.
Yes, and of course, I'm familiar tayo with the idea of having a green thumb, and
Yes,
unfortunately, not everyone has that kind of expertise and has that kind of
precisely.
yes, diba? So I really admire your family and the work that they do for the community as well. So I also want to know, no, Raf, with all of this, excitement about Philomena's Grains, what are your flagship products, and what are the products that you offer to most of your customers?
All right, now we have two pigmented rice. It's black rice and red rice. There's one glaring difference like between our rice and what's in the market right now. I've hinted it earlier that it's for the Filipino palate. It's softer generally. It's a little sweeter compared to your traditional black rice, and it kind of fits most Filipino cuisines. Like I've experienced like before we planted black rice or red rice in general. We used to buy black rice from other businesses, and we knew it was good in terms of our health and stuff like that. But we didn't really like it. We couldn't eat it every single day, every single meal, because it. I mean, we have acquired taste as Filipinos. We generally like sweet
White
things,
rice,
and
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and the other products aren't really that. It's not fit for the Filipino palate. But yeah, because of dad's continuous searching for the right planting material, he was able to find one particular black rice and red rice that was fit for a palate, not only for us, but something to share to everyone, something to share to a very, very large market. So that's why even in our socials, if people will take a look, you can even see there's some recipes, some famous food pairs you can mix with black rice and red rice, because we want to help in people understand that this type of rice isn't just healthy, it's deliciously good, especially when you pair it with the right food.
Yeah, I personally follow the Philomena Grains Facebook page, and I agree. I've never thought of using black rice for usual recipes, and it makes it so much classier and so much gourmet. I mean, it's more gourmet, like with the color it gives, with the pigment it has, versus the traditional white rice, and it is healthier. So I also want to ask, no, Ralph, why do you have the particular preference for black and red rice? I mean, what is the difference with brown rice, and why is that not part of the flagship products that you have?
One of the basic reasons why we're not selling brown rice right now, because we want a quality product that fits a particular palette, and we haven't found it yet, because we don't want to offer something that we ourselves aren't proud of. So basically, that's the reason why we don't have brown rice yet. But in terms of why did we focus on black rice and red rice first, I think it's because of a hierarchy in terms of how it provides nutrients to your body. So it's not really about less carbs, more carbs. I think I think it's like a nutri myth,
Yeah.
because like I've had friends who are in nutri who tell me that they're, in terms of carbohydrates, the same per cup, but the main difference is like the rice's ability to make you feel full. It's a lot more evident in black rice compared to white rice, for example. So maybe if you're like a 3 cup eater of black rice, you might consume only 1.5 cup of black rice, because black rice makes you feel fuller, makes you have more feel like lighter in general, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, as a fellow agri enthusiast, and student, no, Raf, the fiber that comes with the fiber and the pigmentation, the nutrients that comes from the extensive anthocyanin pigments in black rice and
Yeah.
red rice gives you the antioxidants you need, and that's very remarkable for a business. Actually, feeling ko that is your competitive advantage din talaga as a business, no, in general. Like, can you find it's pretty rare to find a rice business that just focuses on pigmented rice and make sure that they have the proper varieties that's competitive with the palette that we have, or the taste that we have for white rice. And I think that's very interesting. That the work you do is it's really amazing, and it's promising for the Filipino people and the younger generations. For
I
next
hope
question,
so. I hope so.
of course, Miss Net, your next question.
Hmm. You mentioned earlier, in brief, the hardships that you encountered in producing the black and red rice. So, as a local producer of rice, what are the challenges you've encountered?
So generally, there's a lot of challenges in general in rice production. So let me just cite one para I won't blabber on too much. For us in
Yes.
particular, it's unsynchronized rice farming, not just with us, but in terms of the rice neighborhood, for example. So just a scenario, let's say farmer A plants like 1 month ahead of time. Therefore, they harvest earlier than everyone. So what does that do? Uh, usually the pests that live in their farm will transfer to other farms. So let's say there are three farms. So farmer B and farmer C will have to deal with all of the pests that are existing in their farm, but also the pests of farmer A. So in terms of finance, that will cost you more. Insecticide will cost you more labor. For example, if you're into organic rice farming, so those, like, whereas in, for example, in a model where you all plant at the same time, you all eliminate the pests at the same time. You don't give them leeway to transfer from one farm to another. That eliminates cost, but ultimately uh, allows you to have better yield and allows you to have better quality of produce. But I think this problem, it stems from the lack of agricultural education. This is not to say that our farmers are not educated in farming. Believe me, they're very, very smart at what they do. But there are some scientific aspects that isn't available right now, just because these ideas are inaccessible to most individuals. Like, if you're not, like, I didn't even learn this from my agri subjects. I learned this from a specific
Yeah.
agricultural training from ATI, Agricultural Training Institute. So if I did not attend that particular seminar, I wouldn't even understand that concept. So yeah, I think the inaccessibility of science-driven farm knowledge and farm education is one of the main problems in agriculture right now that our farm and other farmers experience. That's why I'm so glad that Sir Vern was one of the speakers a while ago, because he's into farm education, and it's very important to help your community in terms of learning more about agriculture and stuff like that.
Definitely
If I
agree.
may,
Go
okay.
ahead, Miss Yen, please.
I just wanted to add one more to the question, connection with challenges. Is the weather affect also a challenge in producing rice? Because I know farming is affected like during typhoons, storms. Does it also is it also a big challenge for you as a producer of rice?
Yeah, definitely. So, like, if some businesses have government policies as their challenges, or some businesses have the lack of demand for a challenge, in agriculture, one of the main challenges is the weather, the ever changing weather conditions we have. Sometimes you think that July is the rainy season, but suddenly July is dry, and you have to adjust all over again. But I think the presence of challenges in agriculture is just a manifestation that it's a business. Like, all businesses have certain amount of risks, and as an entrepreneur, it's your job to maneuver yourself away from those risks, or even capitalize those risks to get something out of it. So risks are inherent in any business venture. It's just that in an agribusiness, your enemy is the weather. So it's a little unfair battle, but it's part of the job.
Yeah. It's not really that. No. I agree actually with Raf. No, it's the weather or the climate is something you obviously cannot control as part of the
Yeah.
the agribusiness as a whole, and being able to address these challenges sustainably and profitably is something that an agribusiness, a successful agribusiness, has to master in order to be in the field for a long time, in order to sustain. No? So of course, I would also, that was very informative, no, coming from Raf, and in behalf of Philomena's Grains. I would also like to give Raf the floor to call for engagement. If people want to buy your rice, if people want to partner with you, be your distributors, how can they reach you?
Okay, sure. Actually, I think I have a deck on that. So, Philomena's Grains Trading, you can find us on Facebook. Uh, you can look for Philomena's Grain. So we're also at Instagram at Philomena's Grain. And if you would want to be a partner, if you want to be a distributor, you would want to uh, form some sort of business with us as your supplier, you can email us at contact us at philomenasgrainstrading.com. We'll be more than happy to form a partnership with us, because we believe, like growing this industry shouldn't be about us. It should be our partnership. And I think the only way we can grow agriculture is if we continuously partner with one another and hold ourselves accountable for this industry's growth.
Very wise words, Ralph. I cannot stress that more. I mean, I hope all of our viewers are inspired, right now to venture into agriculture and to also, patronize locally produced grains from Philomena's Grains and also from our other distributors across the Philippines. So let's strengthen the agriculture industry of the Philippines together as one. All right, Ms. Nyet, your key thoughts on this one.
I think it's about time for us Filipinos to move into black rice or red rice, because we've been used to eating white rice. Our palate is really into the sweet side of the rice. But since rice is very important for us, we were born to eat rice actually. Sabi nga nila, rice is life. Kung may kilay is life, rice is life for us Filipinos. So, let's try. We should start eating healthy. Like in my case, I'm already turning 57. Okay, nag-announce eh. Anyway,
Bata pa po.
I should start also eating, try the black rice that you're saying, because you mentioned that your father was able to come up with a sweeter version of the black rice. So I'll try that. The brown rice, we tried it at home, but it's really an acquired taste. So I'll try the
Yeah.
black rice.
Definitely.
Oh wait,
Go
I
ahead.
think I
Ralph.
forgot to
Yes.
say something. You can find our products at All Day Supermarket. So we're available nationwide. So from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, you can get our products. We have a special announcement around September or October. We're gonna do something big with our products. So please follow and like our page so you can get ahead of that announcement. So stay tuned.
All right.
That's
Thank
good
you
to know that it's in the All Day Supermarket, because there's one in Star Mall, which is very near my office, so I can drop by anytime. Okay,
Aasahan
thank
ko yan,
you.
ma'am.
Yeah, I will try. But is it easy to cook it? Is it the way? If I may ask,
Sige,
um,
like over black rice kasi, nasa instructions sila that you have to soak it in water first, because that's yung reklamo ng dad ko. It's too crunchy even if you soak it. But with our product, like God knows why, pero you just have to cook it like white rice and it's soft already. That's why we're very proud that that's our differentiator. It doesn't feel different, but it is. So you just cook
wow,
it like white rice.
pag
Wow.
rice cooker lang talaga siya. That's
Mm.
easy. Okay. Thank you, Ralph.
Of course. So, di ba? I mean, alam mo na, Miss Nyet, di ba? Titignan ni Raf yan. Bumili ba si Miss Nyet sa All Day Supermarket sa may
Aabangan
Starbucks?
ko yan, ma'am.
Papakita kita ng resibo.
Talaga naman. So, for all our viewers as well, no? Let's be like Miss Nyet. Ayan. And go to your nearest All Day Supermarkets and try Philomena's Grains, their black rice and their red rice. Of course, thank you very much, Raf, for
Thank you
sharing
as well.
your community and your brand. It's been very inspiring. I mean, I cannot imagine a much better, tandem for this afternoon's episode of Talk Shop Asia than you and Sir Bert. I mean, it's like a magic. I mean, it's like magic waiting to happen, no? So we look forward for more success for Philomena's Grains. So please stay with us as we dive into the panel segment. So I would like to call on right back on the screen our first community mic guest, Mr. Vern Campos, and of course our co-anchor Enrico De La Rosa. All right. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. And we are going into the panel segment of the show as we dive into why. Diba? The theme of this week's episode is farming the future. All right. So to ask the first question, let's get right into it. Rico.
Right. Before earlier on this show, Sir Vern and Sir Raf mentioned some of the key challenges in the agricultural industry. For the panel question, we'd like to ask, what do you think is the biggest or major challenge in the agricultural industry, and what do you think is a good way to address it? You can draw from the previous statements that you said, or you can choose another challenge that you think is very prominent. Sir Vern?
Yeah. One of the biggest challenges that we have now is actually the importation of rice because of the rice tarification law.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of testing in the passing of rice tarification law, which actually affected the local rice production and definitely affected the farmers in terms of production. That's why actually they are now selling many of their farm because they could not compete with the imported rice. And I think the government has a call on how to address this on a macro level and able to come up with a good solution, not just a bandit solution, but a sustainable solution that really empower the farmers on the ground level so that they can produce more and compete with the imported rice.
Right.
So that's
Right.
that's exactly what I said.
Me on my end, I think one of the largest problems in agriculture is our inability to fully mechanize our production to a certain level, like what Sir Vern said, that we can compete with international prices or like the cost of production of imported rice. So like if we are able to like fully uh, provide the largest amount of budget possible, that we could at least mechanize like the major producers of rice or even other products, we could get to a point that we like even with the presence of policies that will allow importation to continuously occur, we could still compete. Like people will still buy our products because our price is competitive, and that is something that I think private and public sectors should strive for. Our ability to have a competitive production, to have a competitive price in the market.
Definitely agree, no, with Mr. Byrne and with Raf, no. I mean, on a macro level, there really is a problem when it comes to the importation, and there was an underlying cost to it, definitely, no. And it can also be, I think that one of the causes of it was what Raf said, no, from the perspective of the production side as well, that we are not able to mechanize and really treat it like a corporate level farming, no, na parang it's consolidated, it's well monitored, it's sustainable on a larger level. That's why we can compete outside. And yeah, we do hope that with advocacy as well of Sir Byrne, with his capacity to rally and to lobby for the Philippine agricultural sector, of course, with our help and the help also of other communities in the Philippines, that hopefully we can address these challenges. So for our next question, I also want to know, no, I mean, as farmers yourselves, how do you persuade farmers to transition from traditional farming to adopt more sustainable practices? I understand this may be difficult, but in your cases, how do you usually address it? Sir Vern.
Yeah, we have some kind of values na bago mo punain, you should have something to present. And I think that's very typical with Filipino farmers. So when we go to farmers, don't just conduct a seminar for them, but I think an actual testing of the technology where they can see in their eyes and experience a higher
Uh-huh.
yield
Uh-huh.
and lower cost. So it's a demonstration. And I think the government actually did some of those. There are some
Uh-huh.
private companies also who actually did some of those, but sustaining it is one of the problem. So there must be a massive action on the ground level to engage farmers for the adaptation of the new technology.
Definitely agree, no, Sir Vern. I mean, in the field din kasi, our farmers really have this mentality na to see is to believe, no? And I
Mm.
think it also comes from the idea that they can't fail. They don't have the resources to fail during planting season. They can't afford to have any losses with their crops. That's why they always stick with the proven processes. They are very averse on trying new ones that may cause any losses to them. And that in itself is also a problem, which I think we can also address. And we can also use to persuade farmers to transition. So thank you for that, Sir Vern. How about you, Rap? Your thoughts on that question?
To add, yung sinabi ni Sir Vern, it's true. There are initiatives right now to actually demonstrate equipments, technologies to farmer and allow them to transition. So actually, I was part of that particular seminar na nagkaroon ng demonstration ng agricultural equipment. Pinakitaan kami ng simple computations lang kung bakit ba talaga mas nakakatipid. Ano ba yung expected amount of production versus ng mechanical versus manual. And I'm young, so madali ako maniwala. And I've experienced this kinds of discussion sa classroom setting. Pero I was with very, very older farmers. Like 54, 55, 45. Mayroon pa nga dun parang 58, mga ganon. And I literally saw them like from a non-believer to a believer to a point na willing sila to join cooperatives, to engage their cooperatives, and to get funding for that particular machinery, etc., etc. So I think tama si Server na we need to sustain the momentum of us, of the government with with the private sector to continuously engage with farmers, to actually show them the production, kung paano siya napapamura, paano napaparami, along with factual computations on how they really are able to cut costs because of the mechanization of rice farm equipment.
Thank you so much for that, Raf. I cannot imagine a better tandem for this show than Sir Vern and Raf, to be honest. I really love the show today and, just complementing each other from the farmer side, from the policy and the legalization side. It's amazing to just hear all of these very inspiring and very beautiful words and very, evidence-based and scientifically sound, adaptations from both of you guys. So I would also like to ask, Miss Nyet, and Rico, your thoughts on our episode today. Rico first.
Yeah, I think with the panel segments it was very insightful of Sir Vern and Sir Raf, and I think they gave us the reason why they're doing what they do. And in light of the rice tarification law, it's because the rice tarification law was supposed to just solve the supply problem in the short term, but eventually the tariffs are supposed to be used to further make us sustainable. So we're supposed to get there, and I think we need more people like Sir Vern and Sir Raf to actually help us get there.
Definitely agree, no? I hope, I hope a lot more people would be trained by Sir Vern, and I hope a lot more of the youth would venture into agriculture like Ralph. Ayan. Miss Nat, your thoughts on this one, please. Miss Nat, I think you're on mute.
I yeah, I muted it. I muted myself earlier. Okay. For me, as an optimist, I pray that I live to the day wherein the Philippines becomes the number one producer of rice and an exporter of rice, because we were once that in
Right.
history, but we're no longer that anymore. And I also pray that um, our younger generation would find it interested, would be interested to do farming. That we would have a lot of agricultural students, and that they will be able to practice it and not just graduate and move on to a different field. So we need more farmers actually here in the Philippines, because our we have a vast land for farming, so it's better that we take advantage of that. And for the urban farming, that's the new in actually for me because even in your own backyard, you can grow your own vegetables, your leafy and fruity vegetables. With the hydroponics, I've seen schools teaching those that in school already, like in Trinity, the high school students are being taught hydroponics. So it's something. It's a modern technology that is very useful nowadays. And for the black and red rice, it's something that everybody should try and go and buy. Let's support local. Buy local.
Yes, definitely agree, no, Miss Kit. So thank you so much for that. And of course, coming from my end, I coming from the segments today. No, we all, I hope our viewers and our government as well, and all our other lawmakers and policymakers realize that currently farming is a dying craft. But with our guests today, it gives us immense hope that we have these heroes fighting for the agricultural industry in the Philippines and guiding our future generations to becoming a superpower again in the agricultural sector. So I really hope that our viewers are inspired. We're inspired today by our guests who are definitely farming for the future. Again. So of course, I would like to give the floor to our guests to call for engagement before we end the show. Where can people reach you if they want to partner with you? Where can they find you or get your services and your products? Sir Bert, please.
Yeah. Well, you can, as I mentioned earlier, you can browse our website www.cofarmgarden.com, and we have the numbers. We have the numbers there. You can contact us directly, and then we are willing to assist you whatever your needs. But of course, I'm actually open for farm consultancy. If you have a bus land and you don't know how to operate it, and you have the fund, contact me. I'm willing to guide you through to create your farm into a agri-tourism farm. So let's be partner.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Sir Bird. So please follow Sir Bird on all on his website for the Fam Agri-Tourism and Training Development Center, as well as if you have lands or idle land, please also you can have him as your consultant. All right, and so you can also contact him through his phone numbers now on his sites which are available also in the Fam Agri-Tourism site. All right, and of course, Raf, please call out your
Uh, you,
viewers.
can, you can get updates and more delicious food posts on our Facebook and Instagram. You can find us at Philomena's Grain. If you want to be a partner and want to distribute our products, you can go contact us at philomenasgrainstrading.com. We are more than willing to be your partners. Our products are available nationwide at all day supermarkets, so you can go check them out.
All right, thank you so much for that, Raf and Sir Bruno. I mean, this episode is very inspiring for not just for me, but I hope also for our viewers who are tuning in with us. So thank you very much for staying with us this afternoon. Rico?
Yeah, we had a very, very insightful discussion with everyone. And once again, we would like to thank you very much, Sir Vern and Sir Raf, Sir Vern of CoFam and Sir Raf of Philomena Grains Trading, um, for being with us this afternoon and sharing with us your community impact, your vision, your passions, and your purposes. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank
this show
you.
would not be
You're welcome.
possible without
Salamat
the
rin.
expertise of these two amazing people. I mean, I look forward to have two more success for both of you guys, and I hope you touch more lives with your products, your services, and your community. Of course, thank you very much for everyone who finished the show with us and to all our viewers in the Philippines and abroad. Let's all stay safe in these trying times, especially in these rainy seasons. We'll see you again next Friday. So this has been Talk Shop Asia Power Network Season 22, helping you and your business grow exponentially. Happy weekend, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye. Stay
guys.
dry. Stay
Bye.
dry.
Bye.
Stay
Bye.
safe. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, yeah.
We just brought to you Talk.Shop.Asia Power Network, the program that features, highlight, and connect, where your company will grow exponentially every Friday, 3 p.m. only here on Big Media MPMT Network.